Title: New research says you don't need to eat less, you need this. For a long time, nutrition advice sounded painfully simple. If you want to be healthier, eat less. If you want to lose weight, cut calories. And if it's not working, you must not be trying hard enough. This message became so common that many people stopped questioning it. But in recent years, nutrition research has been telling a very different story, one that challenges the idea that eating less is the main solution. New research now suggests that most people don't need to eat less food. What they actually need is a different structure to how they eat. Health outcomes are shaped far more by food quality, satisfaction, and consistency than by constant restriction. This shift in thinking is changing how experts understand metabolism, hunger, and long-term health. One of the biggest problems with eat less advice is that it ignores biology. When people consistently undereat or follow restrictive diets, the body doesn't simply cooperate. Hunger hormones increase, energy expenditure adapts downward, and cravings intensify. Over time, this makes it harder, not easier, to maintain health. These responses are not failures of discipline, they are built-in survival mechanisms. Research increasingly shows that the body regulates intake more effectively when it is given the right signals. That means meals that provide enough protein, fiber, and energy to create real satiety. When meals are satisfying, people naturally stop eating sooner and feel less urge to snack later, even without counting calories. This is why many experts now focus on what needs to be added, not just what needs to be removed. Adding adequate protein supports muscle maintenance, appetite control, and metabolic health. Adding fiber from whole plant foods slows digestion, stabilizes blood sugar, and feeds beneficial gut bacteria. These additions help the body regulate itself instead of constantly fighting hunger. Another key insight from recent research is the role of ultra-processed foods. Diets high in heavily processed products tend to encourage overeating, even when calorie labels are visible. These foods are engineered to be easy to eat quickly and difficult to feel full from. As a result, people often consume more energy without real satisfaction. In contrast, minimally processed foods require more chewing, digest more slowly, and trigger fullness signals more effectively. This means people often eat fewer calories overall without trying. The difference is not willpower, it is how the food interacts with the body. This understanding explains why many people feel stuck despite eating less. When food quality is low and meals are unsatisfying, the body compensates by increasing hunger and cravings. Simply reducing portion sizes in this context often backfires. Eating less of the wrong foods does not produce the same result as eating enough of the right ones. Institutions like Harvard Medical School now emphasize dietary patterns over calorie targets. Instead of asking how little you can eat, the better question is how well your meals support stable energy, fullness, and long-term health. This reframing removes much of the stress around food and replaces it with practical understanding. The World Health Organization echoes this perspective by highlighting food quality and processing level rather than strict calorie limits. Their guidance reflects global evidence showing that diets built around minimally processed foods lead to better outcomes across cultures, ages, and income levels. Another important element is eating consistency. Irregular eating patterns, extreme skipping, or constant grazing can disrupt appetite regulation. Regular meals that provide adequate nourishment help the body predict energy intake and reduce the drive to overcompensate later. Again, this has little to do with eating less and everything to do with eating in a way the body understands. This shift also changes how we think about weight and health. When people focus on nourishment rather than restriction, many see improvements in energy, digestion, and metabolic markers even before any visible changes occur. Health is not just a number on a scale, it is how the body functions day to day. Importantly, this approach is sustainable. Diets based on constant restraint tend to collapse over time. Habits based on satisfaction and nourishment tend to last. Research consistently shows that long-term consistency matters far more than short-term intensity. This does not mean calories are irrelevant. It means they are a secondary effect, not the primary lever. When meals are built around foods that support satiety and metabolic stability, calorie balance often improves naturally without conscious control. So when new research says you don't need to eat less, it isn't promoting overeating. It is correcting a misunderstanding. The goal is not to consume unlimited food, but to stop underfueling the body in ways that trigger compensation and frustration. The real need is for meals that work with biology instead of against it. Meals that provide enough protein, enough fiber, and enough energy to feel genuinely satisfied. When that foundation is in place, eating becomes simpler, calmer, and more intuitive. In a world that still pushes restriction as discipline, this message can feel counterintuitive, but it is one of the clearest conclusions emerging from modern nutrition science. Health improves not when we constantly eat less, but when we eat better, more consistently, and with purpose. If you want more clear, research-based explanations without diet hype or fear, feel free to follow along. Sometimes the most powerful nutrition advice is not about cutting back, it's about finally giving the body what it needs.